touch, I find, sets this company apart in terms of how they work on the action and how the action plays and feels, in addition to, of course, the hammers and the strings, etc. There's a question of a person's intention and spirit, and the spirit of Paul Lindeblad is one of the type of honesty that I think most people are looking for. Paul Lindeblad and Todd will not deceive you. They do excellent work. And that level of trustworthiness seems to be harder and harder to find.
I walked in here actually on the, I'll hit Lindeblad on the way someplace. Figured I'd spend 5 minutes looking through the showroom, talking to somebody. I ended up here, I think, 2 hours. Brought my husband back. We went back upstairs into the, the warehouse and that kind of thing. And I guess it was all of the discussions, the family business, been in business for generations, passing down the craftsmanship, that kind of thing. I guess talking through all of that was probably what gave me the confidence. I didn't feel like it was a great risk. For 2 reasons, I guess, because the piano, I knew it was from that era, and the system that, that Paul has in place.
You put down a down payment, but you're not tied to the instrument, and you're not even tied to the company. If you don't like the product, then they'll give you your money back and you can walk away. But I did. It was very comfortable working with the Lindeblad family because they were very knowledgeable. They knew which options were best for the piano, and they worked with me for which options that I wanted for the piano, and together it was a good match, a good fit. The Lindeblads are very knowledgeable about the instruments, about rebuilding and refurnishing these instruments, and the work that they do is with care and with detail, and it shows through their product.
I've asked myself that same question. Why should their pianos be any different than another rebuilder? But I think the bottom line, it's not just pieces of wood and metal. I think it's more than that. Perhaps some creative element, combination of that, skill, experience, and also understanding what the customer is looking for. The Lindeblads were very careful to listen to what I was looking for and actually make adjustments on the piano, which is very possible to do to help me attain that sound and tone that I was really searching out.
After I talked to Paul, I felt like, yes, this sounds reasonable, this is probably what I want to do. And then after I came up, after he looked at my piano, that was the clincher, to visit it and have it all so thoroughly explained to me what my piano needed and what was the best way to approach it. I really felt comfortable with that. And I feel like the piano is back where it should be. It's back to probably what it looked like when it was originally put together, and I felt like it's been done justice. Every penny was very well spent.
I'm a musician, and I have a studio, and so there's going to be a lot of recordings and this and that. And so the thing was, I don't want to compromise anything, because we were going to say, okay, look, let's do this, and maybe we won't do that. Let's get the good hammers and maybe not the good this. And when I suggested those things, what corner can we cut, kind of thing. And Paul was like, no, let's not cut a corner. Let's make it work. Let's find a way to make it work within your budget. And that's exactly what he did. And that was the great part, because there was no compromise.
It was a little bit disconcerting to think about spending that much money on something that I hadn't seen or played or anything. But talking to the Lindeblads, you could see what high ethical standards they had, and it was interesting. Every time I would have a question or something, they would get right back with me. And once I did decide to do that, they were just helpful all the way through. And when I had questions about, say, for instance, the color of the piano, and I said, whenever you guys have a chance, I'd like to see some samples, but there's no rush. The next day I got a FedEx letter in the mail that had all the color samples.
The message I really would like to get across to other people is that you really can trust the Lindeblads. I kind of took this risk and went through this process, and it ended up being that I was buying this piano sight unseen, and yet everything worked out beautifully. It worked out perfectly, as a matter of fact, and they are just experts at what they do, and I really feel like they would do whatever they could to try to get things exactly like you want them and to make you happy and to make you satisfied. You really can trust the Lindeblads to come through for you in every way.